Greetings, hello there. It is Tonya Poole with Fall Alchemy, episode 3. Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. We are in the middle of the fall season, and I absolutely love this time of year. I say that almost on every episode, though, so I don't know if y'all believe me, because every episode I'm like, this is my favorite time of year. But I really do love the fall season, and I really love Scorpio season as well, because it's very dark, it's very mysterious, it's very magical. It is the alchemist sign. So I love Scorpio season and this time of year. So if this is your first time watching, or if you've been with me for any length of time, I want you to like, subscribe, share, leave me a great comment below. And I want to welcome you to the Fall Alchemy series. If this is your first time and you have never heard of alchemy, or you don't know what alchemy is basically a fancy word for transformation. And you've actually tuned in at the right time, because Scorpio season is the sign of transformation. And so no matter when your birthday is, if you're a Virgo, if you're a Libra, if you're a Sagittarius, an Aries, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you watch me for any length of time, you know that no matter when your birthday is, everybody's a Scorpio during Scorpio season. We all carry all 12 signs of the zodiac. And when the sun is shining its light on a particular sign, that is the time or the sign for us to know that it's time to focus on the energy of that particular sign. Every sign has its lessons to teach us, and Scorpio's lessons are very important. So anyway, so we are in Scorpio season. Scorpio is a very magical sign. It's a water sign. So it's very connected to our emotions and our feelings and the ups and downs of our emotional selves. It's a very intuitive sign. It helps us to tap into our intuition and our imagination and all of the parts of us that most people don't get to see. So it's actually one of the, and I say this in a very good way, but it's one of the darkest signs of the zodiac, because it causes us to look at the darker sides of ourselves, not just the bad side or the evil side or anything like that, but the parts of ourselves that we hold very close, that are hidden, that a lot of people, unless they are very close to us or have been intimate with us in some kind of way, they may not know that part of us. Scorpio also gets us to find out the things that are hidden. We learn secrets. It's how we learn or discover things that maybe everybody doesn't know, or certain people may not want you to know, because Scorpio is also the sign of the private investigator. For those of you who might be hunting and trying to see if somebody cheating on you and stuff, that's very Scorpio kind of thing. But we'll talk more about that probably in the next video, how to survive Scorpio season so you can survive it without killing anybody. So anyway, so Scorpio is the sign of the alchemist, which is very fitting for this fall alchemy series and the alchemy series as a whole, because alchemy is all about transformation. It's all about taking what you have and transforming it into something totally brand new. It's all about leveling up. It's all about taking something that's at a very base level, a very low level, and transforming it into something completely brand new. So the history of alchemy and alchemists was that they always strive to transform lead into gold, or to transform our lower selves into our higher selves. And so it's Scorpio energy that allows us to transform. If you are really trying to create change, particularly on a personal, intimate level, Scorpio season is the time to do that. And if you're in the northern hemisphere of the world, you know that this is the time where the season, fall is where the time really seems to get darker faster, right? So we are being plunged into the darkness. We are being plunged into the parts of ourselves that maybe we keep hidden, or that we don't want to look at or face, or that we don't even realize are there, right? This is the time of the year when we actually go into that parts of ourselves. And so Scorpio actually rules transformation. If you think about last season during Everybody's a Libra, including you, and How to Survive Libra season, if you watched the first 2 episodes of Fall Alchemy during Libra season, I talked about how that was the time for making decisions, because Libra is all about bringing balance between 2 ideas, between 2 people, between, you know, partnerships and relationships, and how you bring balance and harmony to those things, and how you make decisions that are good for the whole. The thing about making decisions is that when you decide on something, everything else pretty much dies off, right? So, and if you look, the root word to decide, you know, that ending, that side is like, you know, suicide or genocide, or, you know, all of those death words, right? Because when you choose a particular thing, when you choose a particular person, when you choose a particular idea, you kind of push everything, all the other ideas, to the back burner. You don't literally kill them, but, you know, it's like you're not focusing on them anymore. And so during Libra season, we were challenged to make clear-cut decisions about our lives, about our partnerships, about, you know, our businesses, our careers, our family, you know, the rules by which we will govern ourselves. We made clear decisions. Hopefully you did. And so now Scorpio says, okay, you made those decisions. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and transform you in that scenario by making sure everything else is killed off, everything else is eliminated, because Scorpio rules elimination. You know, in order to transform, you have to kind of eliminate what is no longer necessary for you to move forward to the next level. So when you think about Scorpio season, when you think about this time of year where it gets darker faster, when you think about this is the time of year when we actually celebrate Halloween and All Saints Day, and there's a lot of ancestral tributes and worship during this time of the year, it's because you are looking at what has died off, what has been eliminated, and you're examining that, and then you're allowing yourself to be transformed. So that's why in a lot of ways this is kind of the darkest time of the year, but or the darkest time of the zodiac, because we're going into the depths of what has to be eliminated. You know, what has to be killed off, what has to be cut off in order for us to transform and regenerate. Another key word for Scorpio is regeneration. If you look at, you know, there's several examples that we can come up with as far as how this energy manifests. But if you look at, let's just say there's a difference between building a house and renovating a house, right? If you're building a house, you're coming from, that's more of an Aries kind of energy, right? You're starting from the ground up, you're making decisions about what you want, and you're building and building it. But renovating is kind of like a Scorpio thing, because the house already exists, but you might have to tear down some walls. You may have to, you know, pull some pipes up out of the ground. You have to, you know, it gets ugly before it gets better, right? If you know, when you're cleaning up your house, it usually gets worse before it gets better. That's a very Scorpio kind of thing, because in order to regenerate, in order to transform, we have to go in and see, okay, what has to be pulled up? What has to be yanked out? What has to be torn down? What has to be destroyed in order to be rebuilt? So Scorpio is all about that. If you're an author, it's particularly, let's just say if you're a fiction author, but any kind of author, and you have this book idea, or this, let's just say you write scripts and you have this movie idea. It sounds really good when you have the idea, right? And you're telling everybody, I'm gonna write this movie, I'm gonna write this book. But when it actually comes down to sitting down and writing that book and allowing the characters to kind of speak through you so that you can put their voices on the page, that is a Scorpio kind of thing, because you have to go deep within in order to allow that creation process to happen. And it's usually a lot of authors or songwriters or script writers, a lot of times they say they go into some sort of isolation, or they go into it may be kind of a difficult time because what is within them is trying to be birthed out of them. So that is a very Scorpio kind of thing. And that's why doing the work during Libra season by being very clear about your choices and your decisions is very important, because then Scorpio comes right behind it and starts anything you haven't decided on. It starts, okay, let's wipe that out. Let's eliminate that. Let's get rid of that. Let's stop being around that person. Let's make these moves here that's pulling us away from there, so we have to be very clear as to where we are directing that Scorpio energy within us. And so even Scorpio is the sign of sex and intimacy. When you think about sex and your intimate relationships, whether they're sexual or not, they allow you to be very vulnerable, hopefully, right? It's where you are your most naked, either physically, clothing-wise, or even emotionally, where you are revealing parts of yourselves that everybody doesn't know, everybody doesn't have access to, everybody doesn't see except for you and that other person, right? It's very private, it's very intimate, which also makes it very vulnerable, because anybody who sees you at your naked state, at your most intimate state, also has information about you that everybody else doesn't know, because they've been with you in very intimate spaces. And so Scorpio rules that intimate side of ourselves, and that and even our passions, because usually that is when we are most passionate. And if you know anything about astrology, Scorpio is ruled by I'm gonna still call it a planet, the planet Pluto. And Pluto is all about transformation and regeneration, but it's also ruled by the planet Mars. The same planet that rules Aries, which is about our passions and what drives us, what motivates us. But unlike Aries, where that's more so in the, what drives us to move forward, what drives us to take action, Mars and Scorpio is more of what drives our passions. Okay, so that is what this Scorpio energy is all about. I really hope, if you have not done the work during Libra season, that you go back and watch Fall Alchemy episodes 1 and 2 to learn about Libra, so that you can know, okay, what decisions was I supposed to be making during this time? What areas of my life was I supposed to be more clear about and bringing more balance and harmony to, so that this Scorpio energy that we are currently in can then begin to eliminate what is no longer useful, and then help you to transform all of those areas of your life. This is the time of transformation. This really is the time for, a lot of times we get very active in the spring season, right? We have, or even during New Year, like in January, about our goals and our dreams and all of these things we want to accomplish, right? But it's during this time, during Scorpio season, that we really have to go into the depths of our emotions, the depths of our desires, the depths of our ideas, and really pull out something brand new. It may not appear during the season. It may appear next year. It may appear during the springtime of next year, but the work is done now. That is the nature of the world that we live in. That is the nature of this physical world. Everything, things that we want to manifest typically don't manifest in the season in which we plant, right? And even though this isn't the typical planting season, this is the time to start tilling the ground, within ourselves. This is the time to go deep within and just start eliminating ideas, thoughts, people. Don't bump nobody off. I'm just saying, maybe even ending certain relationships so that we can transform and regenerate. Or this may be the time that you're starting a new kind of new relationship, or one that is more passionate, or one that allows you to be more vulnerable than you've ever been before. So Scorpio season is a very interesting time. I really love this time of year. I love this season. I encourage you, if there are things that you have not wanted to face, or things that you're afraid of, or that part of you that is fearful, I encourage you to really face your fears during this time. Face those, even the things that you were afraid to go after, or to accomplish, or to do, or to even state that you were passionate about. Like, really, this is the time to really face that part of you. If you want to transform, if we always say we want all of these things, but are we willing to do the work? Scorpio calls us to go into the darkest, deepest parts of ourselves to do that work. So that is it for this episode. Very soon I will have how to survive Scorpio season, which will actually go into more detail about what to do during this time. So until then, I'm asking you to make sure that you like and subscribe and share, leave me a nice comment and all that good stuff. Also, go to my website, TonyaPoole.com. and you can book the Magic of Me intuitive natal chart reading. You can also get the Magic of Self-Love. And hopefully by the time this video is up, I have my candles on the website as well, so you'll be able to get those as well. Until then, until next time, I am wishing you all much, much, much peace and love.